and welcome to the Merryweather Knitting Podcast. My name is Gabriella and I'm coming to you from my home in Germany, where I live with my husband and our little daughter and our cat Sagwa, who's sitting right here taking a nap as I film this video. It's so lovely to be with you today, and I'm really excited to chat with you about my knitting this week and also my Make 9 2022. It's already February, midway through February, but I finally kind of compiled my Make 9 list, and I'm really excited to share all of my plans with you. Last year, my Make 9 was like, I would say, kind of half successful. I didn't make everything on my Make 9, and it was really more of an inspirational kind of a goal dream board for me last year. This year, I have real hopes to finish and make a lot of projects on this list or this board, but I also kind of do these things with an open mind and an open kind of just open concept. It's not law, it's just a fun list that I'm really excited to maybe complete, maybe knit a few things from this list. So I'm excited to share that with you. I'm drinking some tea right now out of this very sweet mug. This is actually a mug from the DDR, which is really, I think, really interesting and cool, little piece of history almost. I know for those of you watching who are German, it may not be that special, but to me, as an American, it really is like a cool thing to have like a little piece like this, and we just found them on the side of the road. I think they're pretty common to find, old DDR ceramics or things at flea markets. You can always find them, but I think the design is just so beautiful and simple and just so interesting and cool to have this mug. I love it. We have a little set of 4. So I'm drinking some Ticino actually, which is a kind of a tea blend. It's almost like a chicory tea. I think it's chicory based. And it's kind of like a coffee replacement, you could say, or a lot of people drink it instead of coffee. It's caffeine free and it's really, really yummy. So I recommend it. And it's so nice to have this here. Suddenly the sun has come out, but this morning there was this huge torrential downpour. There was a huge storm and it was super windy, and it was really fun. I love storms like that, like rain storms, thunderstorms. Of course, it wasn't that nice because I saw someone's fence kind of fell over, and I know that's not fun at all. My family lives in the Midwest in America, outside of Chicago, and I know that there are often huge windstorms and tornadoes and kind of crazy weather more often than there is here where I live in Germany. And so there's been so many times that at my mom's home, like, trees have fallen down, huge branches, and that's definitely not fun when it comes to crazy storms, but I just think it's so cozy and lovely when it's all gray and moody and just there's thunder and lightning, and thunder and lightning here is so rare for some reason, which is just crazy. I remember when Nick and I first went to the States together, we went on a road trip, and as we were driving, it was summer. There was like heat lightning, and then there was just there were also like big storms with thunder and lightning, and for me growing up, that was very like normal. It's a normal thing, thunder and lightning and big storms. But he was like in awe of it because where we are in Germany, it's just pretty rare to have crazy storms like that. And it was also, we were in the plains, driving on the plains, and so you could see so far, and you could see like these huge gray clouds, and yeah, it was just really, for him, a crazy experience. For me, wasn't that amazing? But now I really miss it. I kind of miss the storms, but of course I feel like that's a very silly thing to say because there are some sad things that happen from storms. But anyway, all that to say, now it looks beautiful outside. The sun is shining, and maybe when Esmeralda, my daughter, wakes up from her nap, we'll go out and venture out onto a little walk or something. But anyway, I have a finished object to share with you today, which is very exciting. I am still slowly returning to my knitting practice. Just, I'm doing a little bit every day. I'm really enjoying my knitting. I'm really inspired in my knitting life right now. But it's not like I'm knitting hours and hours a day. I'm just knitting a bit every day. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all of those of you who just gave your congratulations and your just incredibly kind words after my last video in the comment section and on Instagram, and just different ways that you got in touch with me. Thank you so much. It meant the world to me to have those congratulations and just those warm thoughts. If you didn't know, last episode I announced that I am pregnant, that we are expecting another baby, and yeah, we're just so thrilled and excited about it. And to hear from others, it was just so lovely and so warm. So thank you so very much. And today I'm going to share with you a project I shared with you last week, and this is the completed little hat that I was knitting last week. It's kind of my own design after reading the book Knitted Tams by Mary Rowe. I was really inspired by her kind of conceptualization of tams, and the book doesn't have that many patterns in it. It's more of like it gives instructions on kind of designing your own tam, but also kind of a history of knitted tams, and just different, there's just more like kind of history and information in the book. And it's a very small, thin book, but it's just wonderful. I think it's actually out of print, but I got it on eBay I think I got it on eBay or secondhand while I was in the States last, and it was just an amazing addition to my knitting book library. I loved how she described kind of like the kaleidoscope. She describes in the book that like the top of a tam is like maybe like a kaleidoscope or like a mandala. Like there's just so many things she compared it to, and the way she described it was incredibly inspiring and poetic. So I was excited to try out my own, designing my own charts and knitting up my own tam. So this is my very first, knitted tam or hat. And it's not really a tam because, like strictly speaking, it's a little bit big. I was thinking I would go for more of a beret, but in the end, it's like a little bit, I would say it's probably going to end up being more of slouchy than a beret. This one, this is kind of the first kind of test swatch, hat that I've ever knit completely on my own, designing everything like the charts and doing all that stuff myself. But I'm definitely I think I want to do another round with kind of a few corrections, and then maybe share the pattern with you if you're interested in it. It won't look exactly like this because I am going to change some things, but it was just so much fun to knit, and I can see myself knitting another one, just adjusting a couple of things. So this is the finished hat. It's actually still wet. It's supposed to be blocking right now. It is blocking. I just washed it, but unfortunately, I just wanted to share it with you, so I wasn't going to wait for it to dry. So it's not quite in its finished form. When it is rustic wool, it's non-superwash wool that this is knit out of. And so when it is dry, it's going to look a little bit different than how it looks now, but you get a tiny, tiny, minuscule, minute difference it's going to be from now to when it's dry, but you'll get the hint. So here it is from the top. You can see it looks huge. I think I'm going to knit my next one at a bit of a tighter gauge, but I actually also kind of like the vibe of this. I don't know, we'll see. So this is the top. This is how it looks from the top. And when you block a tam, traditionally, you block it on, there are tam blockers, but you can also block it on a 10-inch dinner plate, like a big dinner plate, and you kind of put it around and keep it on the dinner plate until it dries. But like I said, I knit it a little bit wider intentionally, or a little bit bigger, because I wanted it to be a bit of a wider brim. Yeah, I don't know if my next one's going to be like that or not, we'll see. But it was really such a fun project. And there you can see kind of the top design. There are little seashells adorning the center. There's a flower. The flower I'm definitely gonna adjust and tweak a little bit, but it was the first kind of try, and I think it's kind of cool. It in the book by Mary Rowe, she even says, I don't know if she was quoting another designer, she might have been quoting Elizabeth Zimmerman, or might have been her just saying it, but she was saying like, you can almost make any kind of design and it'll look cool in the center part of the hat, because it just kind of creates this beautiful symmetry. And even like this, I feel like it's quite square. I want it to be more rounded, more like floral soft, because the other shapes in this hat are pretty soft. And so I don't really like that squarish shape. I think I'll make it a little softer in the chart next, but I still think it looks cool. I really like it. And yeah, there are these seashells all around. And then here you can see I kind of made this little design. I didn't want to do like a fish, because I thought like fish were just not, they didn't fit the whole kind of soft design, soft kind of style that I was going for. But so I did this kind of like plant. I thought of a little bit like algae, or a little kind of growing seashore, sea seaweed, sea plants. And so that's what this is inspired by, this motif here. And often it's kind of like little waves that separate each color section, each background section, because I just thought of like, you know, here are the waves coming up with the seashells going over the sand, you know, maybe like leaving some, you know, algae on the sand. And then there are these little blue flowers next. I'll show you the back. So this is kind of on the rim, these little blue flowers. And then there is another row of seashells, which I just love, 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 love. The seashell kind of combination with these waves. And then it goes down into the waves of the rim, which is just a lovely little twisted rib, which I think is such a lovely kind of twisted rib, makes it a little special to me. So I really love the way it turned out. And I still have to weave in ends here, and it's kind of a little crazy looking back here because on this design, I've got quite a few very, very long floats. And I recently read someone who's very, I don't know if it was like Sophia Kamaborn or another designer who designs or knits a lot of color work. And they said, you know, with long floats, they often don't even bother like wrapping their floats as they knit color work. And if you're not familiar, when you knit color work, the float is the yarn that you don't knit in that stitch. You're knitting with two colors, and the yarn that you're not knitting with, it kind of, you carry it along behind, and that's the float that floats behind until you knit with that yarn, that yarn color again. And often if you've got a few stitches in a row, maybe they say more than an inch or 5 stitches, depending on the weight of yarn you're knitting with, you want to wrap it so that it kind of holds back against the knitting. Anyway, I hope that made sense, but if you've knit color work before, you know what I'm talking about. But she said that she doesn't even bother doing it. In the end, it kind of maybe felt a little bit behind, or it just kind of worked itself out. And I just thought, I'm not going to wrap my floats. I did every now and then, but I didn't do that many, so it looks a little crazy. And I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with that. I'm not the most experienced color work knitter. If I'm honest with you, I'm still kind of a novice. I love it, but I'm not super, super experienced. I noticed, you know, my tension isn't perfect. There's just a lot of things that I think will come with more and more color work knitting, you know, just bettering my tension. I knit very loosely in color work, I think because I'm kind of mentally overcompensating, not wanting to knit too tight. The gauge is a little bit more open than I would have wanted, which is why I think I'm going to go down a needle size or knit a tighter gauge for the next hat, tam, or color work project I work on. But overall, I love the result of this hat, and it's wet, otherwise I want to show it to you on me, but yeah, I can't really show you. I can't really show you. I think it's gonna look a little weird. I don't want to stretch it while it's wet because I want that band to stay small, but it's kind of a slouchier style. It's a little slouchier. I'm putting it on the top of my head, so that's not gonna do anything. It's kind of like it's a little bit more slouchy, and in the end, you know, you could wear it like a little beret-ish style, or you could wear it kind of like a slouchy hat. And I think I'm definitely more partial to the like beret or even traditional tam aesthetic for a hat than I am the slouchy hat. Just for me, slouchy hat isn't really what I'm feeling that much right now, but I think this hat could be worn in lots of different ways, and I really like it. I think it's so lovely, and I'm really excited about it. I think I'm going to actually give this little first kind of tam swatch to someone very special to me. His birthday is going to come up soon, kind of soon. It's in like a month and a half, but I have to send it to America, so I want to, you know, I have to send it off soon. But I think she would appreciate it, and she's just so sweet and supportive and lovely about my knitting, so I thought it might be special to give her some, like, a piece of my knitting. And I just think this is such a cute, lovely hat. It's pretty big when I hold it like that, but you know, it's a lovely slouchy hat. And it kind of, if you've got a hairstyle you don't want to like squish, it's definitely good for that. So that's my finished object this episode. I'm really pleased with it, and I can't wait to knit another one, hopefully soon. Oh, and this is knit out of November Woods Fiber Co. yarn. This is knit using 3 colors, 1, 2, 3, actually knitting using 4 colors from her Lighthouse Keeper mini skein set. I think it's more of a limited edition kind of colorway, like mini skein set, but she still has a few of those sets left in her shop. So if you like them, you could definitely go look. All these lighter colors, there's a light pink, I don't think you can really tell, but there's a light pink and kind of a sandy light beige color, and then this pink and the indigo blue color as well. Those are all from the Lighthouse Keeper mini skein set. It's just beautiful. All the colorways are beautiful, beautiful. They're all naturally dyed. And this colorway, this is a different base. This base is, I think, unfortunately discontinued by Alexandra of November Woods, but this colorway, I don't think it's discontinued. I think you can still get this colorway, and it is the Fox Prints colorway, this darker brown, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Alexandra's a very talented dyer and just a lovely podcaster, so you should check her out as well. And yeah, that's my little hat. So that was my primary project this last few days, last week or so. I briefly picked up my end of cleaves, but I'm just going to show it to you when I've made more progress, because it feels so silly to show you a project where I've just made such small progress every single time. So I think it's more rewarding to wait till I've maybe finished a piece or something, then I can show you that, and then I can move on to the next thing. But you know, that's a long-term project anyway, and so it's gonna take some time to complete, but I'm still enjoying it, and I still absolutely love that sweater. I can't wait to one day wear it. So now I'm gonna share with you my Make 9 2022 list, all of the projects, patterns, designs that I've chosen for my kind of little Make 9 2022 board. And I like to participate in the Noble Character Crafts Make 9 2022 make along. This is by Amy of Noble Character Crafts. She's a podcaster here on YouTube, and she's just such a lovely, lovely person. I always love keeping up with her projects and her knitting, and her presence is just so peaceful and joyful and wonderful. So I love that she hosts this make along. And I think it's actually a make along, so I think you can include all kinds of crafts in your Make 9. She's very open. It's really just for you to have fun and share your kind of grid, your Make 9 grid on Instagram, and share your progress. And there's quite a community of people who participate, so it's fun if you follow the hashtag to then see what people are making and what they kind of accomplish in the year. So I have 9 projects, 9 patterns, and it was hard to choose because, like I said, I really wanted and want to finish as many of these as I can this year. And last year I chose a few very complex, kind of more work time focus intensive designs. And so I hardly really scratched the surface of that Make 9 last year. And so I wanted to really choose things that I could finish, that I could maybe even finish all 9 of them this year. It would just be so fun to look back and have checked off each one. The first pattern that I have on my Make 9 2022 is the Ballerina Wrap Top by Alexandra Tavel. It's a beautiful, beautiful top design. I think it's so cute and just lovely, and yeah, I'm gonna put photos up of each of the designs or each of the kind of projects that I have photos of that I can share with you. And I am going to knit this a little bit different than the design I've seen on the project pages that people have knit it with long sleeves. And so I'm going to try to do a long sleeves version of this wrap top. And I'm really, really excited about this project because I'm pregnant. I know my belly is going to grow. It's already growing, and I think like at some point I'm not going to be able to wear like pullovers very much anymore. And I'm expecting the baby in the summer, so in that time anyway, it's like, you know, you're not really wearing that many sweaters and pullovers. But even still, I think it would be nice to have a cardigan or a wrap or two, just to have, you know, so that it can be easily buttoned up and there can be spaces I can leave it open, or like the wrap, I can kind of loosen it or keep it up above the belly, if that makes sense. I think that would be really cute and fun. And I really love this whole ballerina aesthetic. You know, there's right now this like even this kind of subculture in fashion called ballet core, which is so cool and honestly so pretty. I'm not the hugest athleisure fan as far as like style goes. I don't really like wearing like athleisure clothes, you know, like workout clothes and stuff. It's just not my favorite kind of style, but I think that the exception to that is like ballet inspired athleisure, and right now I'm really wanting comfy clothes, and I know it's just going to be that way for probably the next year at least, that I just want to wear really comfy clothes. You know, in pregnancy and postpartum and with a baby, it's fun. It's just nice to be comfortable, but that doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice, you know, beauty and femininity and you know, the style that I like to wear. And so I think this idea of like a ballet is so, I don't know, just that kind of inspiration seems like so lovely and elegant, while still being kind of comfy and cozy and soft. If that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, I'm really excited about knitting this project, and I'm thinking about it's knit in a DK yarn originally, but I'm thinking about knitting it with like a fingering and mohair. There was a while where I was just kind of like not into mohair. I have just a massive cardigan, actually. It's like a mohair cardigan. I knit the balloon sweater, the balloon jacket by Petite Knit in 2019, and I've worn it so much. I still wear it quite often. I really love that cardigan, but it's just like mohair. It was so much mohair in this cardigan, and then I don't know, it was just, I needed a break from mohair, and for some reason it just was not my thing. But I think this might be the exception. I can just imagine like this ballet wrap top with long sleeves, with like this soft mohair halo. I think it would just be really beautiful. And I'm not sure what colorway I want to knit it in. I'm thinking either like a cream, kind of lighter, softer color, or maybe like pink, a marled pink, like taking a darker or a lighter mohair and then a darker or a lighter contrasting fingering weight yarn. I'm not sure yet, but I think that would look so pretty and sweet. So yeah, I'm really obviously very excited about this project, and definitely hoping that this gets checked off the Make 9 2022 list. The next pattern I have on my Make 9 2022 list is a little bit different. It is this is a little bit crazy. I've never knit anything like this before. I know a lot of people knit this category of project quite often, and I can understand why, because I think that these are very quick knits and probably very satisfying, but it's a little doll dress. And the pattern I'm wanting to knit is the 12-inch baby doll dress by Lynn Marie Knits, or I think her name is Lena Mary. I think her handle is Lynn Mary Knits. I think it's Linda, or I think it's Linda Mary. I'm sorry, I wrote it down and my handwriting is not very good on this line. But Lynn Mary Knits is the name of her, I think, blog. And the dress looks so cute. The doll that I want to knit it for is a new doll that Esmeralda just got as a little early birthday present. And yeah, she chose this doll herself, and she just loves her, and it's so precious. She takes her everywhere she goes with her, and she's just obsessed with this little doll. And so I thought it would be really fun to knit her a dress, and then maybe knit a kind of similar accessory for Esmeralda too. I think that would be kind of cute and fun. But I definitely want to knit this little doll dress. I think a doll dress would just be a lot of fun to knit. I've never knit one like that before, and I'm pretty sure that it'll be a very quick, easy knit. So I'm really excited about that project too, which is just so funny because I've never been interested in like knitting a doll clothes or something, but I think it looks so cute. So the third project on my Make 9 2022 is a baby knit. I have a couple of baby knits here on this list because obviously expecting a baby, I am really excited about just knitting a couple little mini projects, little fresh, sweet baby knits. But I saw the Teddy Pants by Petite Knit, and I just fell in love with this design. Look how cute this is. It looks so sweet, and I can imagine a tiny little baby wearing these cute teddy pants. I think it looks so sweet and would just be so cuddly and soft and precious. So this is definitely a project that I'm really excited about. But I thought I wasn't sure, I might knit this and the project I'm going to mention, but I'm kind of putting two projects in one box and allowing myself to choose whichever one when the time comes I really want to knit. And the other project is called Ellen's Coming Home Set, and that's also by Petite Knit. And it's a little set with a bonnet, a little sweater, and a little pair of pants, and it's so cute. Oh my gosh, I just can't take it. I thought I really would knit it for the baby's coming home outfit. I thought that would be so much fun to have a complete hand knitted set for the baby coming home. I think that would be so sweet. So yeah, it's either going to be the teddy pants or the Ellen's Coming Home set by Petite Knit, and I can't wait to knit that little project up for the baby. The next project, I have 3 projects. The 3 are kind of a category of projects on my Make 9, but these 3 I really want to kind of complete, and they're all 3 sock patterns. I think they're all 3, they're just open-ended sock patterns. Either they can be vanilla socks. One of them is definitely vanilla socks because it's a work in progress. I'm already halfway finished with the pattern, or with the socks. I'm not even halfway, like a quarter of the way finished. I just have the cuff of one sock. But I want to knit a pair of socks for my father-in-law because last year, 2021, my mother-in-law asked if I would knit a pair of hand socks for him for Christmas. And because I had morning sickness or, pregnancy sickness, I don't like the word morning sickness. I think a lot of us don't, the morning isn't even the worst time of day. But I didn't end up knitting the socks. So I would love to finish those and maybe give them to him for his birthday. His birthday is in September, so there's lots of time. I'd love to finish those for him. I have another pair of socks that I'd love to knit as a gift for a person who I'm not going to say who it is, just in case they watch this. But I'd love to knit them a pair of socks, and I'd love to knit another pair of socks for my husband, Nick, because it's just, he has only one pair of knitted socks for me right now. And I feel like that's just way too few. He loves them. He loves his hand knit socks. So I want to knit him a pair too. And the other gift socks and the socks for Nick, I'm kind of open about whether I want them to be vanilla socks or a different pattern pair of socks. I'll just kind of follow my mood because sometimes I'm in the new mood for plain socks and sometimes I need a little bit of interest in there. So we'll see when the time comes what I decide on. But I think that those 3 sock pairs I would love to have done this year. The next project I have on my list is the Raspberry Headband by Hannah Lubin, and that is Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear. I knit a project by her. I test knit one of her designs. I think it was like in 2020 even maybe, or last year, I'm not quite sure. But she was just the most lovely person. I loved test knitting for her, and then we've just become friends on Instagram, and she's just such a wonderful person, and I just adore her. Her designs are gorgeous. You probably have seen some of her designs just out and about in the knitting world because she has a few designs which are very popular. I had hoped, before I was pregnant, I'd kind of hoped that I would be knitting her Boughs of Holly pullover this year, but I'm going to wait because of the belly and because of kind of wanting to knit more cardigans. But oh my gosh, her Boughs of Holly sweater is just so beautiful too. I'm really hesitant about knitting garments as gifts, except I have actually knitted a garment on this list. But that's one that I would think would also make an incredible gift because it's just gorgeous. So if you don't know Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear, you should definitely check her out and look at her designs because they're just absolutely stunning, and she's just a lovely, lovely person. And so that Raspberry Headband I want to knit, it's a very small project, but I also think it's actually been on my list for a long time because there's a specific person I want to gift it to, and I just think it's super cute. It's a very simple headband, but it is very elegant and lovely, and I think would also make a great gift as well. So that one I'm really excited to knit up, and that's really, it's so funny. It's such a small knit. It really is probably a super, super quick knit, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I definitely want to do that this year and gift it to that person who I wanted to gift it to. The next project on my list is a newborn bonnet. I have the Anchors bonnet by Petite Knit here because I think that bonnet design is so cute, and I think it would just be a really cute baby bonnet. But any baby bonnet, I just am gonna kind of wait and see which one I want to knit. If I knit the Ellen's Coming Home set by Petite Knit, that has a bonnet included, so I'm not sure if I would then knit this bonnet still. Maybe I still would, I don't know, but the thing is I want to have a little newborn bonnet because little tiny baby heads get cold even when it's summer. They kind of need a little extra layer, and I might just knit it with cotton or silk or something. So yeah, I really want to knit a little bonnet, and I love knitting bonnets. I think bonnets are so cute. Like, they're just adorable. I love them. So I'm really excited about knitting a little tiny mini one. And with Esmeralda, I didn't knit her any hats or bonnets or anything until she was a little bit older, like until she was like 6 or 9 months or something. So I think that will be a really fun project, and also one that's very realistic to have finished because it's just so small and so doable. And so I have one more project now on my Make 9, and this is the one that is probably the biggest challenge, I would say, for me. The one that I almost was kind of on the edge for me, thinking, should I put this on there or not if I really want to finish all these projects? But I did want to add this one because it would be so special to complete it and to knit it, and I think it's doable too. And that is that I want to knit, as a gift for my sister, a kind of yoked colorwork sweater. Maybe like a Lopi sweater or something. I don't have a specific pattern. I even thought maybe I would kind of make my own kind of design up. I have been really inspired by Anastasia of Free Your Sheep. She is an amazing podcast, and she's just so lovely. And she knits a lot with Lopi yarn. And I think my sister would really love a colorwork yoke sweater or like a Lopi sweater. She lived in Iceland for a little while, and she lives now in the States, on the coast, on the West Coast, in the North West, and oh my gosh, she has the most beautiful like life. She just is so cool, but she's often kind of out in the wind and in the elements, and I think like a kind of a rustic warm sweater would be so good for her. I think she has sensitive-ish skin though, so I'm not sure if I want to choose like a Lopi yarn, like Let Lopi, or I'm not really sure yet, but I just think she'd really appreciate and love a sweater like that. In fact, I know she would, because, and actually it might not even be that. I might not choose a colorwork sweater, I'm not sure yet, but the thing is she recently bought herself an 100% alpaca yoked colorwork sweater, and I mean, obviously for buying one, it's like, it was quite an investment piece in her wardrobe. And after she bought it, she told me and she showed me the sweater, and I was like, you're gonna buy an alpaca sweater for like, as that your lifestyle? I mean, alpaca is a little bit water resistant, like kind of like compared to wool. It doesn't soak water as quickly, but I always think of alpaca as a very like drapey, it has not as much memory as wool. It's like kind of a fiber that personally I would use more for like 100% alpaca. I would use more for accessories. Like my recent shawl design is designed using 100% baby alpaca yarn, which is glorious and soft and beautiful. But I was like, oh my gosh, you want to have years out of this sweater, because it was really an investment for her. And I felt like the alpaca wouldn't be the most fitting fiber for that. But she loves her sweater, and she's like, I'm not going to return it. I'm in love with it. And I was like, of course, don't return it. Keep it. It's beautiful. And it is so gorgeous on her, and it's beautiful. And honestly, with care, of course, the alpaca sweater is going to last for a long time. It's going to be perfect. But I want to knit her one out of wool, and I'm going to get her help choosing the colors, choosing the colorways, and then seeing if there's a certain pattern she likes, and if there's not, then I would just kind of design one for her, maybe think about kind of the motif she'd be interested in, and then, yeah, knit one for her. I also think it would be special to knit it for her because she just got engaged, and she's going to be getting married this next year, probably. I don't think they have a date, but in the next year they're going to be getting married, and I think it would be a special kind of a wedding gift if I knit her a sweater. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited about that project too. And like I said, it's a bit of a bigger one for me. I don't gift that many garments, really, ever. So it is something a little bit outside of my comfort zone in a way, but I think she'll like it a lot. And knowing that she'll like it, I will just knit it with so much joy and excitement and just be so happy. So yeah, those are my 9 projects for, my Make 9 2022. Of course, there are many other things that I've been dreaming about making, and I dream of making this year. We will see what comes to fruition, what dreams become reality as far as my knitting goes. I have lots of ideas. I have lots of sketches of things I would like to make. I really have enjoyed this last year, really showed me how much I loved dreaming up my own designs and then knitting them and kind of just bringing them to life. That's been one of the best, most exciting things of this like last year. And that was one of my goals last year, was to design something myself. And that has been just such an amazing adventure. Speaking of which, I have a design which is going to be coming out very soon. Hopefully in the next episode, it will be announcing the release of that pattern. I've shared this with you many times, but it is the Calville shawl, my very first shawl design. And a couple of people even asked for an update on this shawl, and it is coming. It's coming very quickly. It took a little bit longer than expected because of my kind of illness there for a few weeks, and then my tech editor had it took her a little while because she had a big change in her life. So now it's finally coming to a close. Final edits are being processed, and so in the next week or two, it's going to be released, which is so thrilling and amazing. So I'm very excited to share that with you very, very soon. I will share it on the podcast, of course. Of course, I'll also share it with you on Instagram, and you'll find it on Ravelry too. But that's the Calville shawl, and I'm just so excited to have it out. It was such an amazing experience to design it, and then also to go through the test knitting process. I had amazing test knitters who were so helpful and just had so much grace with me in my first design experience process, and my tech editor was incredible. She just helped me so much refine the writing and check for errors, and really she was so thorough and so professional. It was incredible. So I'm really excited to share that with you super soon. Yeah, I really wanted to mention that because I feel like it's been such a long time since I mentioned my shawl. It's been a couple of months, and it's going to come out so soon. So I will tell you immediately the moment it releases, and if you're interested, you can also knit it as well. But anyway, I think that's all I have to share with you today. It's been so lovely sitting with you and just catching up a little bit. I'd love to know if you are someone who makes a Make 9, if you participate in the Make 9 knit along, or if you just make kind of a Make 9 in general. I'd love to hear if you do that, and if you do, I'd love to hear about kind of a couple of projects that you're really excited about this year, because I think it's always fun. It's one thing I love about the knit along aspect, is just seeing what other people are making and their list. And I often get a lot of inspiration from other people's Make 9s. So please share that with me if you participate. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you again next time for another podcast episode. You can find me on Instagram as Merryweather Knitting, and you can find me on Ravelry as well. My name on Ravelry is gabriellak, and there's also a Ravelry group for this podcast, though I haven't checked it in ages. So I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna be completely honest about that. But you can always find me there. You can email me too, and most importantly, you can find me on my website and blog, merryweatherliving.com. There I post blog posts, and I just share the show notes as well. So all the show notes you can find below for this podcast, all the things I mentioned, all the patterns for my Make 9, everything will be linked in the show notes, and you can find them all there. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.